So,
welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yeah.
You know what? It was a little awkward at first, but now that we're starting up again, it feels like coming home. So I couldn't be happier.
And now that Alaric is going to be a vampire for good, how has that been playing that side of him again?
Well, I mean, that's definitely a plot point that they're establishing from the very beginning. So I think you'll see him struggling with that reality for sure. So it's not something he enjoys, but it's something he definitely has to deal with.
And how is he going to deal with getting back in the role of like the father figure for Elena and Jeremy?
Well, I mean, so the show starts. We're going to jump into the future a little bit. So we'll pick up about 4 or 5 months after I think the last season left off. So you'll see Alaric and Elena's relationship established right from the very beginning. And I think I really love the writing this season. I think we've all sort of like come into alignment, and there's just a really nice. We're off to a really good start. I really love the relationships that they're developing, especially with Alaric and Elena, which the first 2 episodes set up a major plot point for the entire season, which I think it's going to be really exciting for people to see.
What if your best buddy's not there? So what are you going to do without Damon?
Well, I think he's going to try and figure out something. He's going to see what he can do to remedy that problem.
Tell us about Alaric's new teaching position, because I hear he's going to find himself as a teacher again.
Oh, you heard this already?
Julie was just here.
Oh, so she talked about it? Oh, okay, good. You never know what you can talk about, so you try and...
You're in the clear.
Yeah, you move around these topics generally. Yeah.
You can trust us.
Sure. I've heard that
You're
before.
among friends.
No, you'll see, since Alaric can't be in Mystic Falls, he set up a life outside of Mystic Falls. You'll see him teaching, I think at the but you'll see him teaching at the university outside of Mystic Falls, teaching occult studies, which I think would be pretty cool. So that's established right away, which feels very comfortable and natural for him and for me, which has a unique sort of synchronicity, because he's teaching things that I find interesting personally. So, but yeah, you'll see him established as a professor. Outside of Mystic Falls.
You said you compelled your way into the job.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Yeah, I did. I did.
So when did you first find out that you were coming back and start thinking about your return?
It was interesting. After I came back for the 100th episode in season 5, it was very uncomfortable for me to come back as a guest star in these guest star capacities here and there, because I felt very much removed and out of sync with the whole experience with my friends and my family, and I felt awkward, and I was coming to I had to come to the conclusion within myself that I thought, I don't think I can keep saying yes to coming back in these little guest star appearances here and there, because it was just too hard for me emotionally, and I was prepared to have that conversation with Julie when she called me up to get dinner one night, and we went and had sushi, and I was, girding myself to say, I don't think I can come back anymore. And before I could say anything, she's like, so we're thinking about bringing you back. How do you feel about that? I was trying to contain myself. I was so excited. I tried to play it cool. She's like, think about it. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll think about it. Sure. But once I got over that sort of, I was thrilled to be able to come back. Because Vampire Diaries is like my family. They've become my blood and my family. And so I felt very much in limbo with Alaric for the last 2 seasons. So to know that I will get out of that zone and come back and be a creative partner again with everybody was a real blessing for me. So I feel great about it. It was a little awkward at first, It was a little awkward. So like, okay, cool. Alaric's coming back, and but now that we've started shooting, I feel like it's even better than it was before. So.
Julie's so creative. She can figure out some way to bring you back and spin everything.
Yeah.
So how have you been dealing with the writing and stuff so far? Have you...
I think it's the best it's ever been. I really do. I think that this season is starting out the way I had hoped season 2 would start out, where you have a time jump, which would allow people to reestablish everyone, give you some breathing room. So I feel like Alaric's relationship with Elena, with the other characters, is in total alignment with what I had hoped it would be, a few seasons ago. So I think we've all grown, we've all matured, we've all come to a deeper trust in our own creative abilities. The show's moving into season 6, so it's just getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think that there's a new maturity and a new alignment that's coming together that I think is really exciting. And the episodes I've been reading so far, I think have been the best I've read in a while.
Will Alaric have a love interest at all? Because the last one was Elena's aunt.
Let's hope not for her sake, because every time he falls in love, they get killed.
Oh, I know.
But we'll see. We'll see. I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Alaric and Damon used to be drinking buddies, and Enzo kind of filled that role last season.
Yeah, I know.
So are we going to see Alaric and Enzo maybe drinking some?
We'll see. I'm curious to see how that relationship will develop. I know I feel personally a little jealous of that bond that they've established while I was away. So I'm curious to see how it'll manifest in this season. So, but the first few episodes I've read, Alaric and Enzo are not on the same page just yet. So, but I'm sure they will be soon. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you so much. Glad to have you back on the show.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it.
Enjoying the con?
Always.
So how's the reception been this year? Any new fun reactions?
Well, I think I'm like kind of in a way, obviously it's always, I'm never quite used to it, but I think in a way I have grown accustomed to it. And I'm not as shocked at the crowds, but I haven't done my panel yet, and I also haven't walked the floor yet. So.
What's one of your favorite things about being here?
Well, I love running into people. I love running into it's like kind of going to like a big school dance, and it's like a school reunion or something. And you see all these friends that you haven't seen in ages that you've worked on. I've been working in this industry for 15 years or whatever. So you see all these people. Oh my God, and I like that. And of course the parties. I always have. It's like for me, Comic-Con is like. It's so fun. I look forward to it every year. I have such good memories. I think this is my 8th Comic-Con.
That's crazy.
It's a fun place.
8th.
Just to ask you,
Where's Stefan's head at the beginning of season 6, now that he's lost his brother and one of his friends?
It's actually, he's detached himself from Mystic Falls. He's moved out of town, and everyone thinks he's looking for his brother and Bonnie, but he actually has grown entirely disillusioned by that idea, and he's decided to give up and move on and start his own life.
so we hear there's going to be a 4-month.
He becomes a car mechanic. I'm not kidding. Sorry, what was that?
Vintage cars,
Yeah.
so.
Thank you for that spoiler. With the overalls and everything.
I decided to go no overall. Just like white t-shirt, James Dean, greasy. Come on, CW style. Gotta keep it CW. Gotta keep it CW.
Well, so we hear that there's going to be a 4-month gap, or there's going to be a 4-month jump for when the beginning of the next season
Yeah.
picks up. So are we going to see how Stefan and Elena kind of process the loss together? Or
They're not together. Like I said, Stefan's moved on.
Yeah, but is he coming back?
I'm not in the episodes that I've read.
Do you think in the future we can maybe see reemergence of Ripper, Stefan, given?
Oh man, I would love it. I don't know if there's room for that, but that's my favorite, thing I've done in 6 years.
He's going through a lot of grief, so maybe.
Yeah. I would love it, but I don't know if there's room for that storyline.
How does it feel to have Alaric come back? Do you think you'll have
I
anything?
love Matt, and I think he's a good added asset to the show. I think he's a good sort of adult voice, and so I'm very pleased.
Do you think you'll have any scenes?
I hope
Because
so.
you guys were friends too. I know him and Damon were drinking buddies, but
I hope so.
Yeah.
What was their? Remind me. What was their relationship like? Because I actually I have a bad memory, and I'm not okay.
They were constantly protecting Elena together.
Right. But they weren't like drinking
no, they
the way
weren't.
Damon and him do. I was a little jealous of them. Stefan needs a bro. You know who could be Stefan's bro is Klaus, but they never explored that. I thought they kind of broed out a little bit in the 20s. Remember that?
Yeah.
That
I
was
would
like
have
a
loved
good
to see
bro
that.
out thing. And then they never went there, which kind of bummed me out a little bit.
The new crossover.
Klaus always wanted you to be the Ripper again.
Yeah, I like that. I think I should. I should go on the originals.
Original.
So, who would be your ideal guest for Stefan's bro?
For
Stefan's bro.
Bro?
Yeah, guest star. Like,
Any actors?
yeah.
I think, bro. I just broed out with, in Atlanta with one of the fellows on Walking Dead because we all shoot there. And we went out, and I he's a mutual friend that I know through Ben McKenzie. His name is Michael Cudlitz. And him and I broed out in Atlanta. We could bro out on Vampire Diaries.
So, with Stefan moving away from town, does that mean his friendship with Caroline is going to
Well, I think that eventually they'll get back and be in the same, vicinity and then hopefully make out.
So, is there a chance for romance this season? Because it's been
I hope
teased for
so.
so long.
I hope so. I sure as hell hope so. Yeah. I would like that. I don't have any say in this, but I'm down with Stefan making out with any females.
Where would you like to see Stefan go from here? Like, what kind of character growth would you like to see in him? Is there something
I like shadows. I like shadow self. No, I like shades. And I think that whatever it is, I think that these characters are so flawed. These vampires that the murderers, I mean they are. So it's like I think everything he does should not be black or white in terms of pure heroism / oh, dude, thank you. Straight whiskey. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Heroism or sort of like villainous. I think it should always be sort of in between, and I think that is a more interesting way to play a protagonist.
With Enzo sticking around, we're going to see.
I love Enzo, man.
We're going to see his relationship with Stefan like change things.
Yeah, actually, him and Enzo have a run-in. Yeah, and I can't talk about it, but they have a little bit of a run-in.
Can you talk a little bit about the continuous fascination with vampires and all this other
You tell me, I'm baffled by it.
and also the sex appeal of vampires.
Well, I mean, it helps that they cast our whole cast is aesthetically pleasing. That's not a coincidence. That's the CW way. And I think that, but you're right. I mean, fighting is sexual, and it's just a sexual. Two people have to be in close vicinity and fighting each other's necks. It's just like symbolic of danger and sex. That's all it really is. It's just symbolic.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
There we go.
So, we heard that Damon and Bonnie are going to be together somewhere mysterious at the beginning of the season. What
Called The Other Side.
Wait, I thought it was going.
Not Damon's bedroom. Could be, who knows? I remember when we were designing Damon's bedroom, the whole idea was, he's got a pretty dope bedroom. Here, flip it this way. The whole idea was that when building Damon's bed, because he has this custom bed, I think it's 2 or 1.5 Cal Kings. I think it might actually be 2 Cal Kings together. Because I said he needs to be able to fit at least 8 sorority girls.
Side by side or?
Well, side by side. I mean, that would be excessive.
It's just silly.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of sorority girls because I think sororities are a little antiquated and a little scary. But it is what it is. I mean, I love sorority. I love girls in general, but if you're in a sorority, that's not that I dislike you. I just think all that stuff is a little intense. But nonetheless, Damon would have 8 of you if he could. And I'm going to catch a lot of shit for that. It's all big frats and sororities and schools, but I think they're weird. However, Damon loves them. He loves eating them, sleeping with them, showering with them. I've had my fair share. It all works out. No, I mean, listen. The whole idea is this other side, Bonnie and Damon are pretty profoundly connected And I think that there's a very, very fine line between love and hate. We all know that. And I think these two have been through an exorbitant amount of experiences together. Mostly really dark and a little crazy. But I think what it's going to do is lend itself to creating some very cool stories. And, you know, Kat Graham, I think, is one of the best actors out there. And I've been very much looking forward to this for a long time. And, you know, the great thing, too, is that her and I work with the same acting coach, this woman, Ivana Chubbuck. If you ever know what I do or what she does, read this fucking book, man. It'll blow your mind. Because you look at her client list and you realize, oh, these are people that I really respect. I love to see the way they think. Because it's about finding the connective tissue between what's going on in our own lives, past, present, and future, and infusing it weaving it into the thread of the text to make something that's tangible and profound and connected. Kat and I work the same way. So what's great about it is we get to work together as individuals with Ivana, and then we get to work together as a group. So it becomes very profound and crazy, and the shit that's going through our minds while we're shooting is very dark and weird and incredible. So it makes us very connected to one another. So I'm very much looking forward to being able to, you know, perpetuate that way of working.
Sounds like a very dynamic acting process.
It is a dynamic acting process, and also too is a sort of great through line for life. You know, it really allows you to break down a lot of the things that have happened to you in your life, and you use that as opposed to letting it fester and become very unhealthy. It's quite cathartic. It's extraordinarily cathartic, actually. And so to be able to do that with Kat is a blessing.
How would you?
Last question. For all the darkness going on in the show, how's the atmosphere in the set? Do you sort of keep it light?
Oh, we joke and fuck with each other beyond the scope of comprehension. I mean, our blooper reels are boring because you sort of have to be there, and it's a dramatic... Listen, let's be honest, guys. This is a teen vampire soap opera. Unless you're like... It's one of those you had to have been there things. Typically, our blooper reels blow because there's just not anything... We don't have time to be outlandish and funny. We don't get to... shoot little skits together and stuff. I mean, I remember we were doing them on Lost. It was an older audience too. I mean, we had blooper reels on Lost. I remember once Maggie Grace and I were shooting a scene where we were on the plane and she's like going through her carry-on. She's looking for something, and I don't know if it was JJ or Damon. Somebody had me put this like ginormous sex toy in her bag. It was huge. This thing was like, I don't know who uses this thing, but kudos to them, man. And she was going through this thing, and she pulls it out, and she goes, and she was on camera. Now that literally made me pee on myself when I watched that on this giant screen. Those are the kind of bloopers that we want to do, but we don't get the ability to. But we shot this because we didn't really have any footage for a sizzle reel for Comic-Con. We shot this really funny little sort of parody on our show that we're going to air at the panel. And that was fucking funny. And it was a great way to start the season. It very well could be our last. And this is, I think now that there's a finality to it, I think everyone's really realizing, wow, man, this is a very important part of time in our lives. And we created some very cool storytelling. And this crazy son of a bitch is back. Matt Davis.
Do you think
Alaric,
he's going to try to find you? You're drinking with him?
Yeah, we're blood brothers. This thing, I think, is dead.
Ah, dang it.
Guys, you gotta go.
Really?
Oh,
Is it working?
record. There we go.
All right, say everything again real quick.
You guys rock.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, truly. Enjoy Comic-Con.
Hey, dude, can you do me a quick favor and say hello to Taylor and Rachel for me?
Hi, Taylor and Rachel.
You're the best.
Your dad rocks.
Later, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude. See you.